Hi, this is CA Apurva Jaisamha and you're with me on G for GST. In this video, I am going to take you through the conundrum surrounding GST and director remuneration and the clarification provided by the circular in this regard. So, let's get started. GST and director remuneration has been a slightly dicey issue since the inception of GST, which garnered undue attention the moment Karnataka authority gave contradictory advance rulings. This was also followed by the article given in Economic Times which said any and every payments made to directors attract GST under reverse charge. To all those following this video, reverse charge is not an alien concept. It is a concept where the recipient pays GST directly to the government on behalf of the supplier. To give you a statutory background, the Principal Reverse Charge Notification 13 of 2017 has an entry which says all payments or all services provided by director to a company attract reverse charge mechanism. This notification or entry per se is, however, very silent on what type of payments attract reverse charge mechanism and what do not. This was followed by the advance rulings which said any and every payment made to the directors attract GST under reverse charge. However, what the ruling failed to note was the fact that there are certain types of directors who are having an employee-employee relationship with the company, because of which the services that they provide to the company are in the nature of course or furtherance of their employment, thereby triggering Schedule 3, the negative list. So this created a question on what kind of director payments attract GST under reverse charge and what do not. There are directors who are employed with the company in an employee-employee relationship, and there are directors who are just consultants to the company. So to put an end to this entire conundrum, CBIC issued circular number 140, which addressed the issue of the different types of directors on board a company, the different capacities in which they are engaged, the different services they supply, and the different types of payments that they are made to. So the circular predominantly classified the directors into two categories: managing directors and whole-time directors and independent directors. Managing directors and whole-time directors are employee directors of a company. There is a contract of employment and their payments are typically called salaries. So much so that the TDS deduction to them happens under section 192B. Coming to the independent directors who are not having an employee-employee relationship with the company, they may be paid professional fees, R&D assistance charges, brand association fees, royalties and licenses where patents are involved. The services that they provide are professional or technical services in nature, for which TDS deduction happens under section 194J. So once we understand the different types of directors on board a company, it is very easy to discern what kind of director payments attract reverse charge and what do not. Managing directors and whole-time directors, since they are having a contract of employment with the company, the services that they provide to the company are in the course of furtherance of their employment. Therefore, Schedule 3 kicks in and GST under reverse charge will not get triggered. However, sometimes in very rare situations, the services that the managing director or whole-time director provide to a company transcend the scope of terms of employment of their company. In such cases, the managing directors and whole-time directors are paid sums of money over and above their salaries. So the circular clarifies that it is only this portion of remuneration that is paid to the managing directors or whole-time directors, which is over and above their salary for performing certain services beyond the scope of their terms of employment, is what attracts GST under reverse charge. Coming to the independent directors who are not the employees of the company, there is no employee-employee relationship, the payments made to them are not in the nature of salaries. Therefore, they are independent service providers to the company, and this service is what is covered under the Principal Reverse Charge Notification, thereby triggering GST under reverse charge. So the takeaway here is that not any and every services supplied by the directors to the company attract GST under reverse charge. You have to classify the nature of the director and what are the terms of his association with the company. You also have to classify and understand how the other acts are obligating him to provide these kind of services and what different types of compliances and deductions are made under Income Tax Act. It is only when you conclude very thoroughly that the services covered are pursuant to the contract of employment, GST under reverse charge is not attracted. Once you are able to establish that the services performed are beyond the scope of employment or there is no contract of employment at all, that is when the GST under reverse charge gets triggered. So I hope this short video you were able to understand the different types of director payments and what attracts GST under reverse charge and what does not. For more updates on GST, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you.